Let's talk about AEW. Where do you start? Well, I'm going to start by saying this. I have gave up the idea that AEW will ever compete with WWE or even trying to compete with WWE on any metric. I have gave up the idea of AEW going mainstream. I have gave up the idea of AEW creating their own versions of John Cena, their own versions of The Rock, contributing to the wrestling world and trying to make it better. I gave up on that idea. I'm still a fan. I'm still going to watch, but I have gave up on the idea that AEW cares to try. AEW is satisfied. Tony Khan is satisfied. His sickos are satisfied. And what can you do about that? You might as well just face it for what it is. Nothing's going to change. AEW is the ultimate indie company funded by a billionaire. So that's something we just got to do it. No matter how many excuses we come up, it ain't going to equal up to Tony Khan's bullshit. Unlike most of us, like a lot of us at least, in the world, that did not have the backing, the financial backing of a billionaire father, I'm sure Tony Khan, most of his life, he's never been told no. I'm sure he's had a trust fund at 5 years old. I'm sure he had a college plan at 2. I'm sure he had cars waiting on him at 6 years old before he could even drive. So to tell Tony Khan he can't do something when he's been used to doing exactly what he actually wanted to go do, that's a hard thing for him to swallow. To tell him no, to tell him something indifferent. Because he's been used to getting what he wants all his life. I'm pretty sure of it. And he just proves CM Punk right more and more and more that AEW will stick around as long as Tony Khan want to play. As long as Tony Khan want to play the game, like Triple H, AEW will stick around. But this is not meant to broaden the wrestling business. AEW is not meant to make the wrestling business more life, more big names and all this other stuff. It's not meant for that. This is literally an experiment that Tony Khan always wanted to do. That's exactly what this is. This is not a wrestling company. This is a playpen. This is a kid that has all the action figures he ever asked for, and he can just use them. Except he, in real life, he got all the action figures he used to have as a kid, but he has them in real life. But he can't tell the difference. So this is just a plaything for him. This is a fantasy. He used to book shows when he was a kid, younger. He called it Dynamite. This is literally him living a dream. This is not meant to be WCW, compete with the WWE and all. It's not meant for that. And a lot of people that are as delusional as Tony Khan would say, how is it not competing and blah, blah, blah. Well, 600 to 500K should tell you everything. Hell, it used to be 800K. Then they dived into 700K sometime, but it was 800K at one point in time. Dipped up to 900, even a million sometime. But now, all 2024, the norm is 5 to 600K. The 600 to 5K. Tony Khan is a prime example of money cannot buy success. You think it can, but it can't. It can only buy you short-term success. Every agent that he bought off the market, not one has popped a rating. Not one has popped a rating. And it's not the talent's fault. Can't blame it on the talent. No. This is proof that no matter how many good names, big names, athletic stars, the hottest free agents, if the booking is bad, none of that matters. Before AEW was a thing, Vince McMahon had all the names, right? All the top guys, right? The booking was horrible in 2018, 17, 19. Horrible. Was it or wasn't it? So it's proof. If it's bad booking, shit doesn't matter. It's funny, the irony that he's on film talking about, he's criticizing WCW. And literally, years later, he's doing everything to a T, identically, the same mistakes, plus some. Same thing. He's hiring everybody he likes. He's getting everybody gigantic contracts, knowing damn well he's not going to get a fraction of any of that back. That's because AEW is a quick money grab company. This is a scam-likely business. Except the scammer is Tony Khan. But this is the twist. He's offering you to scam him. Go check out my video. Tony Khan is into self-scamming. Tony Khan is one of those guys that's at the strip club, and I mean, he's spending every amount of dollar to bring one of these strippers home, and he is just never successful. That's Tony Khan. He's spending guap on one of these strippers to take home, and he's just never going to be successful. She keep telling him, no, this is just work. I don't mess with the work. I'm not going home with nobody. I'm married. Or this is for college fun. This is something else. I'm just here to do my little job. That's it. And Tony Khan just keep on insisting. All right, what about 10 million? Mercedes Moné? What about 8 million? Jericho? I don't even know if these are the right numbers, but you get what I'm saying. Even though he ain't going to get none of this back. And the trick that's paying for all that money and can't get her to come home, he ain't getting no action. But you just literally threw $10,000 in the club thinking, oh, the bitch is about to flock to you. She just picked up that money and did her job. Now you Saudi. Except Tony Khan, in this case, he's just going to keep throwing money. He's not even Saudi about it. He's not even like, damn, I'm not coming back here. I'm not doing that again. Nope. He's not even Saudi about it. He's just going to keep throwing money. Because in Tony Khan's case, he can. Tony Khan might be a very chill, cool guy in real life. Might be easy to get along with him. Obviously. But it doesn't matter what I come up with, what I say, what complaint. Nothing's going to change. In the back of my mind, I still want to have hope that AEW could do something to have a boom period. Those days are gone. I'm sure Tony Khan has Faith Evans and P. Diddy's song, I'll Be Missing You, in his playlist every time CM Punk name and Cody Rhodes' name get brought up. And Ever since those days, he have not been the same. Especially Punk. That hit him where it hurts. Because he was really clamoring for Punk. Really hard. He was really aiming high for him. And it blew up in his face. All parties could be wrong and held responsible. But the biggest party of them all showed he cannot handle a sticky situation. The money he could have made off of CM Punk versus the Elite. A legit story turned into a work. Those are some of the best stories. And especially in the new era that CM Punk created. He created this new form of storyline. I'm not saying he's the first, but he kind of made it popular to do it in today's time. Because he's the one that brought in backstage drama and different things to the forefront. He's the one that kind of did that. You know, Sean and Brett had real heat, but you didn't hear about all the backstage shit until years later. They're already retired. At that time, you didn't hear about that. You didn't know. You just knew they had problems. CM Punk was openly about it, right? You gotta think, 2014, before podcasting really took over the world, he was on a podcast burying people. And that affected the wrestling world. But back to Tony Khan and AEW. I know he missed those days. I know he missed CM Punk a lot. And I know he probably hates CM Punk a lot. That's why he fired people in his name. Basically saying, hey, this is on your hands. I'm firing people because of you. I'm going to bury people because of you. Anyone that said anything good publicly about CM Punk, look at their booking. Anybody you can think of that said anything good about CM Punk after the fact or was cool with him, and pretty much who was on Collision. Because everybody was on Collision at the time when Punk was around. Those are people that he liked or felt like these guys should be getting pushed. These guys should be getting used. Let's look at FTR. You beat the shit out of them. I mean, you beat these guys lifeless. Look at Jay White. He loses to a one-legged, beat-up MJF. Over the top, overproduced booking. Right? So ruined Jay White anything he had going on. So Jay White got to start all over. Because he was on Collision. That's why I said Jay White. Look at the Gun Club. Where are they even at? Are they injured? You kind of forget they even around. House of Black. Isn't Malachi gone? Because Malachi was a ghost the entire time. The leader of the group was never the focus. Hey, Raven, we're going to give you Raven's Nest, but Steven Richards is going to be the star. Perry Saturn is going to be the star. The other cronies that nobody knows is going to be the star, but it's called Raven's Nest. Hey, Bray Wyatt, we're going to give you a group, but everybody else is going to be a star but you. But it's called the Wyatt family. You're the only person with the last name Wyatt. That's genius, right? Jamie Hayter made herself a big star, 2022. She missed out 2023. And, I mean, she became organically over with people. People was really clamoring. This is when Toni Storm, before Toni Storm found greatness, this is the green, quiet Toni Storm that I did not like at the time. But she was world champ. And it was a pretty damn good match. I forgot. I think, was it All In? I forgot which one it was, but it was a good match. Jamie Hayter wins by the help of Britt Baker. So Jamie Hayter was really the heel, but the crowd was fucking with her so heavily. She gets injured, unfortunately. She's out for a long time. And she comes back. And she's nowhere near a world title. When the last time we seen her, she was a world champ, but she's nowhere near a world title or even a TBS title. And if you look at both champions, Mariah May, Mercedes Moné, it looked like they're running out of opponents. So I think Jamie Hayter would have been perfect right now for one of them. Even to take the title from one of them. because Jamie Hayter was like a big star. Like, you know, she wasn't a huge, but like she made her name significant in the women's division. You know, she made her name big as a Britt Baker. Then I often wonder, is Britt Baker or Adam Cole cool with CM Punk? Because where is Britt Baker? Again, she's just a ghost. She just came back and she's already missing. So is she cool with CM Punk? Is Adam Cole cool with CM Punk? Because you just completely shitted on Adam Cole by bringing back the worst storyline in AEW history that you ended, but then you just pulled the Monday Night Raw on Netflix, what The Rock just did, making us say, hey, just forget all that. And, you know, MJF, you're the heel in this situation, which doesn't make sense. Adam Cole, you're the face. The Hurt Syndicate, more free agents, more of a bloated roster of a bunch of people you don't know what to do with. Hurt Syndicate is already lost. Private Party, you kind of forget their tag team champs. Oh, man. What was that Continental Classic about again? Oh, Okada's the greatest tournament winner. I had no idea that was a thing. I had no idea. I didn't understand why he was in it when he was the champ. Didn't he lose a match or two? Or something like that? In the Continental Classic, but yet didn't lose the title. So I'm just kind of like, why was he? I thought a tournament is like, you get a bunch of guys because this guy is a pretty dominant champion. He's ran out of contenders, so we got to make a new contender. That's why we having a tournament. I thought that's what was the point. And they say it's a round robin tournament. Okay, you could have did the same thing without Okada being in it, and they could have still had a finals. And at War's End, whoever won the finals fights him at World's End. I don't know. Waste of time. Banger matches, that's all that matters, right? Yep. To 500,000 people. Maybe 600,000 people. You haven't had 700,000 people give a fuck about it. You haven't had 800,000 people give a fuck about it in a long time. You sure hasn't had 900,000 people care about those types of shit. You definitely haven't had 1 million people care about these banger matches in a long time. So yeah, you know, you're doing good. Let's keep our 500,000-600,000 people. And then maybe a few of those 100,000s might be like, bro, okay, banger matches, cool. What else do you got to offer in a wrestling show? Tony Khan's going to tell you, hey, don't worry, we got another Continental Classic. More banger matches for no reason. And then that might be another 100,000. And I'm not going to be surprised if it's 400,000 one day. 300,000 one day. Because Collision is at those numbers already. So, I mean, Rampage got canceled, I think, due to the low numbers. What was it, 100,000 people? Because Rampage and Collision were just AEW runoffs. Hey, okay, we couldn't fit this match. We couldn't fit all these pointless matches on Dynamite. So we're going to put on a Rampage and Collision. And then Collision is basically, let's continue stories from Dynamite on Collision instead of making Collision its own thing and having its own identity. And making it rare to have stories cross over. That means it's a really big story. That might pop a rating. But no, this is just, all right, let's just continue the story from Collision. From Dynamite to Collision. Collision don't have no identity. Nothing. Nothing sets Collision apart from Dynamite. Great idea. Hey, let's have more pointless matches. And nobody asked for feuds that nobody was even paying attention. Christopher Daniels and Heyman. I love Christopher Daniels from that TNA days, but bro, he's way past his prime. Why is Hangman fell all the way to the bottom of the card? I thought Christopher Daniels was like a authority figure at this point. The wish list, Adam Pearce. So, why do you think anybody want to see him get in the ring? Mind you, it's a death match for no reason. There was no interactions. There was no build up to. Bro, I didn't even notice this story between Hangman and Danielson at all. So it's like, where did this even come from? At all, like, where did this come from? Because Heyman, hit him in the face about a week ago or something? And I'm like, okay, Heyman's been whooping everybody's ass. Wasn't he just fighting for the world title? Speaking of the world title, we haven't seen the world title on screen. I mean, it feels like years now. A great, wonderful looking world title. It's one of the best looking titles in the game right now. But oh no, don't show it on television. I can't even wrap my head around how just weird that is. I mean, you don't see it at all. And really, I'm wondering, is it even in the briefcase that they're carrying? What is the point of the Death Riders pretty much at this point? Because I sure can't figure out what's the gig. Like, what's the real gist of it? I really can't figure it out. It's just these riddle talks. Everybody come out there looking like they're about to go to a coffee shop instead of a wrestling ring. None of them wear gear, their own wrestling attire, or not wrestling attire. None of these guys wear their merch. So do we even got Death Rider shirts or hats or anything? Like the Blackpool Combat Club actually they used to have the jackets and the shirts, which actually looked dope. The Death Riders don't even have merch. Oh, did I mention Pac just never wear clothes? Like a fucking retard or something? Like, he just looks so awkward. He make that group look so stupid just walking around, always in gear, and you don't even got a match half of the time. Cope. Yeah, boy. I don't know if I can cope with that at all. I'm trying to cope with it. But what the hell did he do to get a world title shot? Wasn't he just in the TNT title picture? So why he's not fighting Daniel Garcia? Cheesecake Daniel Garcia. Why he's not fighting him? Wasn't he just in the TNT title picture? So what did he do to get to the world title picture? Please tell me something. Am I lost here? Then that's another thing. This is TNA 2.0. All the XWE guys are in much better spots than any original. Tell me where I'm lying. Name an original that's in a good position. You forget Takeshita is even an international champ. Because then you got the big guy shaming. You got the big man shaming. Oh, he's not Orange Cassidy, so we're not going to have Takeshita go on a significant run like we did with Toothpick Orange Cassidy. Beating half of the roster. Thanks a lot. Burying most of the roster for nothing. With Orange Cassidy, a.k.a. their Spike Dudley Roman Reigns. Can you imagine Spike Dudley being this damn dominant? That's Orange Cassidy. They look the same. Oh, boy. Swerve loses to another XWE guy. Christian could be world champion anytime. I love Christian, but like, Darby's still not in the world title picture. He just still getting jobbed out. Congratulations. I don't see Sting in him, if that's what the deal is, because the stories around here in AEW, they just switch up without any explanation. Because I could have sworn the Elite was taking over the company. I could have sworn the Elite attacked Kenny Omega, but then Kenny Omega calmly comes out there, gives Okada the title. The tease one of these New Japan matches they had, but I could have sworn he attacked Kenny Omega. But what is just is mutual respect somewhere still? Then the Death Riders just come out of nowhere, just lolly doll. Hey, let's take over this angle. We're gonna take over the company, and yet I'm just as confused as you are. I can name so many different things, countless things, countless, and I'm not gonna go through all of them, man. I said what I said on a lot of stuff, but to sum this all up at the end of the day, I give up on AEW ever being mainstream. I give up on AEW ever competing with WWE because they can't even beat NXT. They can't even beat NXT, full of no names, full of basically created players. They don't even have a full list of indie guys like the Black and Gold did. No, these are literally green girls and guys that's trying, that's learning as the show progresses. Legitimately. And you can't even beat that because it's what I said earlier. You could have the quote unquote best wrestlers in the world. If the stories, if the booking don't mean shit, nothing else does. If the booking is shitty, everything on the show is shitty. It doesn't matter how many 5 stars Will Ospreay get. He's not going to pop a rating. It does not matter at all how many 5-star guys you got on the show. None of that shit is popping a rating. Continental Classics did not pop one fucking rating that entire time. Oh, we just had bangers at the bangers. And no story. Kyle Fletcher did not do anything to progress in that Continental Classic. So what was the fucking point of having him in it? Yet he's growing momentum. But I forgot. He's too tall. He's what 6'5", 240 or something. He's too big and tall. That's why. He's not a scrawny, no muscle having, Play-Doh dough looking ass dude like Daniel Garcia. So he can't be a star here. So people, I don't know about y'all. I'ma still watch, but do I watch the same? I don't. Because I'm at the point where the TV's watching me, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. Because there's nothing exciting going on Dynamite, bro. It's little bitty things that happen. But, bro, I mean, all they give a fuck about is the in-ring quality over stories and characters and gimmicks. And yet they got a couple of cool characters and gimmicks. But none of these characters or gimmicks are positioned in any good capacity. Hangman, bottom of the card. Swerve is in the middle of the card. Tony Storm, she's at the bottom of the card right now. Nowhere near a world title. MJF is right back to his old gimmick. Doing nothing. I guess he's about to feud with Jeff Jarrett out of all people, bro. Jeff Jarrett's going on a run, by the way. Are you excited for that? Yeah. And I got a lot of respect for Jeff Jarrett, but dude, Jeff Jarrett is on a run and we give a fuck in 2025. Didn't I tell you this is TNA 2.0? All the XWD guys, all the familiar faces are way better than the roster. Before I end this, to prove that, Sting never lost to not one AEW original. Yep. Sting never lost the tag titles. They had to give them up, which was so pointless that Darby had to give up the tag titles. So why did they win? Why Sting couldn't put over Malachi? Why Sting couldn't put over MJF? Why Sting couldn't put over certain people? You're going to have Sting be undefeated because, I didn't like the way WWE treated you, so we're going to let you be unbeatable over here and bury our entire roster. Because none of our roster is good enough to beat you, Mr. Sting, that's in his 60s, way past his prime. Genius. Genius booking. I give up. Like, share, subscribe, dislike. We are out.